And we're back with another video, and today I am getting ready to head out to work. It's really early in the morning, and I just wanted to knock this video out because it will help some of you out there. And based on some of the messages I've been getting recently, I figured I should do the research, I should dig up all this information, and I should get it out to all of you as soon as possible. And here's why. Because we are in a strange car market where a lot of people overpaid, paid markups, overfinanced their cars, are buried in their cars, are now experiencing job issues, pay cuts, layoffs, all kinds of things taking place. Despite there being what they call a good economy, we've got some challenges out there that there are a lot more people than I think anyone wants to admit that are experiencing challenges. And the biggest challenges come from oftentimes overextending themselves. And I've been there before, which is why I've shared with you in my last few videos that I will act way quicker than I've ever acted before when I see that things maybe might get a little dicey. So having to do a huge move, increase my expenses in other places, it's a quick action. I'm reducing expenses in one place to be able to not change our financial dynamic. As I shared with my wife, my strategy of success over the years has been to keep our debt as low as possible, and at the very least in a situation where we're never underwater on anything. Again, that is where you get trapped, and that is where you get burned. And there's a couple things that it's easy to get burned by, and that is credit cards. Credit cards, you will never pay them off. You will be in debt up to your eyeballs for the rest of your life. You will be stuck trying to find solutions with consolidation loans and reorganization plans. And just a heads up for those of you who have hit me up about these reorganization plans or repayment plans, just know that those destroy your credit in the process. So now, should you do it? Maybe. Should you just go bankrupt? Maybe. So you've got to figure out what is going to hurt you the most and what's going to be the easiest for you to recover from and the quickest for you to recover from. And it comes down to things like age, the amount of debt that you have, your ability to repay. Are you in an upswing in your income where things will get to a place where you can pay them off? Do you have bonus dollars coming? Do you have a place where you can borrow money at lower interest rates to solve this problem, to get it paid down faster? So many different factors. So I have got so many messages, and I've written back so many people and giving them just my opinion on strategy, on figuring out how to get through some of these challenges. And outside of credit card debt, we've got the car issue. Because this is a car channel and because this is a heavy Mopar channel, I acknowledge that so many of you out there have bought cars this last 3-4 years, and I'm sorry to say this, got buried in them. And you got caught up in the FOMO, you got caught up in the dealership, and the dealership told you, don't worry about it, this bank will finance 110% of MSRP, 120% of MSRP, in some cases 150% of MSRP. They'll cover that markup for you, don't worry. You just need to pay this payment. Some of you, oftentimes younger folks, will get easily trapped into the high interest rate dance. And the high interest rate dance is partly because of either unestablished credit or not the greatest credit. So if you've got a lower FICO score or you don't have a lot of established credit, then the dealer came to you and said, look, I've got to give you 18% interest if you want the Scat pack. And you were like, well, are you saying I'm approved? Yes. And then your head goes directly to envisioning you driving out of that dealership. And I know, because my head goes there too, and I get caught up in that excitement, and you just know, okay, I'm getting this car. And you know what, I'll figure out how to pay this car because I've always figured it out before. And then you roll out of there with a $1,200 or $1,300 car payment on a Scat pack at this ridiculous interest rate, at this ridiculous short term, and now you are really feeling it a year later, and you felt it every month, but now it's really hurting you because maybe you're making a little less money, maybe your hours got cut, or maybe because you were using so much money to pay your car payment that you started to run your credit cards up to pay other things. And this is something I've seen a billion times, and I will tell you, you'll learn from this time, but it's going to be a little painful in the meantime. And just prepare yourself for that. I've been getting messages now that I'm upside down on my car, or my interest rate's so high, what do I do? And the interesting thing is I've had people, now 3 people in the last month, give me their story, and at the end of me giving them what I believe was profound solutions, incredible workable solutions, the next message was, well, is there any other way you can help me? One was kind of cryptic about it, and I said, I think I just did. I think I gave you some help, and it took a while to type all this stuff. And then they came back, I just need $1,300. Could you loan me $1,300? Mind you, I've never met this person in my entire life. They don't even have a picture on their profile, and they ask me for that. Let me just throw this out there before I jump into the rest of this content, is I have a rule in my life that, 1, I don't loan money. I don't loan money to anyone. I give money when I have an excess of it and somebody I care about tremendously is going through a tough time. I will show up and I will give them money to help them through it. I don't want to add burden or psychological torment to their life on top of the torment they're already going through. So if I can afford to loan it to them, then I will just give it to them. That way I don't lose that friend. I don't lose that person in my life if I like and care about them. But if they come to me asking me for money, oftentimes we're not that good of friends. And what I'm finding on here is people think that they can just come ask for money. And as a man, I want to just say, just some advice for you young guys out there, don't ever put yourself in that position. Don't ever go get on your knees and beg for money from anybody. Don't. The only people that you should be able to count on and depend on is your family, meaning your mother and father, direct relatives that love you so much that if they never get paid back, they're still gonna love you. That's it. And even then, never borrow more than you can pay back, and never borrow it for free. So in the past, I will admit, I have borrowed money from my mother when I was younger, and I wish I can get my mother on here, I always said, if you throw me $400 or $500, I'll pay you back $700. I would always give $100 or $200 in interest, in thank you money for helping me out, because I never wanted to have that relationship where my mom felt like her son was just bleeding from her, for 2 reasons. I don't want her to ever think less of me. She raised me better than that. But 2, I know that I will build a situation where whenever I need money in the future, if I'm ever in that position in the future, if something bad happened to me in the future, she knows I don't expect anything for free, and that she's going to get the money back. She's going to get it back when I told her I'm going to give it back, and she's going to get it back with significant interest higher than any bank would charge me. But because of the convenience, I can go to her and she's going to get it. Now, that was many years ago. It's been a long time since I've ever had to go there, but that was the only circumstances. And for that reason, I'm just telling you all, don't go borrow money. I would rather go bankrupt than go to my friends, to go to people that I don't know and get on my hands and knees and beg them for money and ask them for money. In my soul, I can't get there. I can't explain it, but I'm telling you, be prouder than that. You are better off going down in absolute flames than ruining every personal relationship you have, and then exposing yourself to the world when you say, can I borrow money? But you're already, $100,000 in debt between cars and credit cards, and you know that person knows that they are never going to see you again once they loan you that money. So sorry for that diatribe, but just don't do it. And please, don't come to me. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I wouldn't love to be able to help people. It's I don't even know you. So why the hell would I loan you money? Don't take that wrong, but I wouldn't do it. And by buttering me up, another one was, I love your channel. It's helped me so much. You're the greatest. You walk on water. I have a picture of you over my fireplace. Can I borrow $1,500? No. My answer is no. I don't even give explanations anymore. But I'm telling you all, I don't loan money. Period. And especially not to strangers. So sorry, but I had to go down that road. But that made me want to do this video. That might go a little bit longer. But I'm going to give you all the information I found from searching the internet on how to cut your car payments and dramatically reduce them and figure out a way to navigate through your situation. So let's jump in and get started. And I took some notes, so bear with me. I'm going to make sure I don't forget a single thing. First, if you are with a credit union, most credit unions will allow you to refinance. So call them and ask them, what is the process? Sometimes they'll even give you a stuffed teddy bear if you go in there and tell them you want to refinance, because what that does for them is it extends the loan out. They've already collected interest for maybe 2 years at a higher level. Now, when they figure out the refinance and your credit's better and you've established with them, which is one of the major factors, not just your FICO score, then what happens here is they can reduce your rate a couple percent, maybe even by half, especially if you're really at a high interest rate. They will drop that rate and refinance you, but your loan will reset and start all over again. So if you had a 5-year loan, you paid 2 years on it, and you refinance, now you're going to go 5 more years, you will have taken a 7-year loan. For them, even at a lower interest rate, it's better than you selling and paying off that car. It's better that they do it with you than if you go and refinance with somebody else and they lose all the future interest completely. So there's motivation for them, which is why they give out toasters and why they give out teddy bears and they give out stuff. So if you're with a credit union, go to your credit union. If you're not with a credit union, go to a credit union and see if they'll refinance you out of your current loan. They're going to generally do a hard pull on your credit, and that's something you got to take into consideration. Your FICO score should be at least, let's just say for all this stuff, in the mid 6s. If not, I'll give you a couple strategies to rapidly get it there so you can get your car refinanced. But remember, it's worth trying, because if you can save $100, $200, or $300 a month on your car payment, that could significantly shift the direction of your future, meaning you can take that extra money and pay off your credit cards, or take that extra money and start putting it towards your house bills, or fill the hole of your drop in income. Then there's banks that do soft pulls that are specifically designed, or the branch of that bank is specifically designed for refinancing cars and dropping interest rates for people who were stuck in very high interest rates, which so many people in these Mopars, I don't think it's just a parody rumor that's going on out there. Lots of people got caught up because these were such a high level of want vehicle, not need vehicle. And because of that, the excitement blurred our vision when we were making our decisions. And for some of you out there, you're in a Hellcat right now and you make, let's say, RT money, and you're out there driving a Hellcat and you are sweating every night when you go to bed about making that car payment as it comes up. And you know what's crazy? Boy, when you got a big car payment, 30 days goes by fast. It goes by faster than it's ever gone in your whole life. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to name some banks. You can write these things down. I found them online. They are great, and I went and checked them all out. I verified that they're real. I verified that these are legitimate, and that there are some opportunities to do a soft pull, meaning they don't run your credit. You can put your information in, and usually it's like the last 4 of your social or something, and it's going to do a soft pull and tell you the terms, the rates, everything, what they can do, and then you can make a decision if you want to take that offer. And if you do, then they will do the hard pull, but then you know you're actually getting the loan, absent something very abnormal that shows up. So the first bank is caribou.com. Caribou.com. They'll do a soft pull. Go check out caribou.com, caribou.com. Another one is autopay.com. Again, for auto refinances, you can pop in there. I think that one does only a soft pull also, but they'll tell you up front if it's not going to affect your credit. Then the next one is clearlane.com. So they're owned by Ally. So when you go to Clearlane, it'll come up and you'll see Ally. A lot of you are with Ally already, and this is where you can go to try to refinance. Even if you're not with Ally, you can go to clearlane.com and apply. It's a soft pull, 99% sure on that one. I didn't put check marks by these when I checked them out, but it'll do a soft pull and tell you what your rate and term could be and how much your payment can drop. And most of these websites have advertisements straight up saying lower your car payment, and we're talking $100, $200, $300. Even if you're comfortable with your payment right now, this is almost worth going and checking, because if you can get your payment dropped by $100, you can keep paying that same payment but put that towards principal and pay your car off significantly faster. Hope that makes sense. Then you've got lendingclub.com, which I will admit I used them. Gosh, it was 6-7 years ago. It's a long time ago. And I remember I was really nervous about the economy taking a dive. And so I went up I got an advertisement. So I went in there, boom, I took $20,000. I took that $20,000 and I sat it in the bank with my other money, and I waited to see what was going to happen. And the economy didn't go down. Things actually continued to get better. So then 6 months or 4 months later, I paid off that loan and let them have their interest. But it was literally in minutes. They approved it, even with some dings. When I say dings on credit, some higher credit card debt and things like that, and maybe a slightly lower FICO score. They immediately, boom, approved it, and then with like a couple of days, the money gets direct deposited into your bank account. You can use that to pay off the car. Now that's a signature loan, but Lending Club is now doing refinances for cars. So go in there and click on the little hamburger button, little 3 lines, I believe, at the top, and look for auto financing. It's something new that they're doing. And again, the same thing. They'll tell you the rate, term, everything else, and there's an opportunity there for you to save some money. So go to Lending Club. It's not just signature loans, any high interest signature loans anymore. They'll actually do refinances. Remember, with them, if you get declined for the car loan, you can still go and try to get the personal loan, and if you are sitting at a 20% interest rate in your car, you might get 14 or 15% for that loan as a personal loan, unsecured, and still be able to pay off that car loan. It doesn't make sense, I know, but there's different recourse and ability to collect. And make no mistake, if you default with them, they're not going to let you be free. They're gonna get that money out of you. So they may loan it to you at a lower interest rate. It just depends on the guidelines. Also depends on the car. If your car has way too many miles, let's say your car, for example, is a 100,000 mile car, there's a good chance the bank's not going to want to refinance that car. Meaning you can go now get the personal loan, and that personal loan is not dependent upon the collateral. It's dependent on you, your credit, your ability to repay, the job you have, etc., and your other payment history. You will get credit for the payment history on that car, but they will give you that signature loan. And let's say it's a $30,000 signature loan at 15%. Right now you're paying 19% on your car loan for the same amount of money. Boom, just pay it off with that money. Now here's the big risk. You're gonna get the pink slip to your car. Don't go borrow money on your car if you just borrowed this money here. Just have the car and be in good shape. Don't go trade that car in and then be carrying that loan with another new loan, because you will be on a snowball effect that you won't be able to outrun. Very important. Next, one of the best ones out there is, most of you have this credit card. I've had multiple of these credit cards. Now I have one of the highest level credit cards that they offer, and I've graduated from the crappy credit card 10 years ago to the best credit card, which is great because they allow you to upgrade generally without any cost or any effect to your credit, which is a beautiful thing. So autorefi.capitalone.com. Y'all know Capital One, but go to autorefi.capitalone.com. Now they love giving people second chances. I mean, 2 days after I went bankrupt, 10, 12 years ago, they were like, we're here for you. Here's a credit card. Start reestablishing your credit. So just know, and that's a whole other story. You can go find out what happened. There's tax, nightmare, market crash. I mean, it was big money. But bottom line is, Capital One showed up saying, hey, we're your buddy. Let's figure this out. And they helped dramatically in reestablishing my credit. And to this day, I have their best credit card they offer with the best interest rate and the big limits and everything else. So you can start something with them. But autorefi.capitalone.com. If you already have history with them, with one of those reestablished cards, this helps. Just don't have it maxed out. If it's maxed out, pay that thing off. If you have a $300 limit and you owe $280, pay that thing off before you go applying, and wait till it reports, because that will dramatically increase your FICO score to be able to qualify for the refinance. So keep that in mind. Little tiny credit card with maxed out balance is going to damage your FICO score just as much as a huge credit card with a huge balance. Well, just doubling down on that, the quickest way to increase your FICO score is to pay off a credit card, or pay a credit card down to under like 20, let's say 20, 30%. The more you pay that thing down, the more points you're going to get back on your FICO score. So before you apply for a lot of these things, if you can knock down some of these credit cards, you will see pretty rapid increases in your FICO score. Another way to rapidly increase your FICO score. So let's say you have 3 credit cards with three $3,000 limits. So you owe $9,000 and you have $9,000 worth of credit. You are going to get creamed on your FICO score. There's no way your FICO score is going to, I mean, it's going to be probably in the mid to high 5s. I mean, when you're maxed out that high, unless everything's great, you might be in the 6s. But nonetheless, maxed out credit cards affect your FICO score, and they affect them rapidly. So when you max out a credit card, it hits your FICO score hard. Now, if you can't pay them down, you don't have the money to pay those cards down, then you need to get additional credit, available credit, to help your FICO score. This is a well-known thing. It's not something I'm making up. But how do you get a new credit card if you're maxed out on these credit cards? No bank in the world's going to give you a new credit card, right? Because you're already maxed out on these. They're not going to want to even do the balance transfer. They're just going to say, nope, due to your high revolving credit card balances and many cards maxed out, you're done. You're not going to get anywhere. So what do you need? How can you increase your available credit and get it down to 20 or 30% with $9,000 in credit card debt and $9,000 in limits? Here's how. You can throw a trade line on your credit. Now, there's great credit experts, credit cleanup people that will charge you to do that, and sometimes it's $500 to $1,000 through a trade line. Basically, they throw a Bank of America card with a $50,000 limit on your credit as an additional card holder, and boom, your FICO score shoots to the moon. Then you refinance your car because your FICO score is up, and a lot of these banks are going to look at that FICO score, they're going to look at that available credit, and they're going to say, well, he has $60,000 in available credit, and he only owes $9,000. Suddenly, you went from zero to hero, and you look much better. There is a website. I've never used it, but I found a long time ago, and I've given it to people called Tradeline Supply, tradelinesupply.com. And you can go buy a trade line, have it put in your credit for a month, and then go refinance your car once your FICO score bounces up. Now keep in mind, there's hundreds of trade lines you could buy into. You could buy large amounts but short credit history, or long credit history with large amounts, or long credit history with low amounts. They're going to have different prices. Keep in mind, a short credit history with a large amount is not as good as a lower amount with a long credit history in some circumstances. The best possible circumstances is you get a higher amount with the longest possible credit history. Let's just say it's 5, 6, 7 years old credit history on that thing, and it'll show you, the credit history date when it started. It'll show you the amount of that limit, and it's going to cost you more money to get the better stuff, which is the older one with the bigger limit, but that'll get your FICO score a lot higher as well. So check that out, but talk to a credit expert as well. There's so many of them out there. If you need one, message me and I'll refer you to the gal that I've used for many, many years, that before I go buying, you wonder how I buy all these cars, how I buy all this stuff. Sometimes I'll tell her is, hey man, it was Christmas time. We ran the credit cards up a little bit, and I just had something show up that I've got to buy, and I've got 2 weeks to figure this out. And if reporting date's coming up, by the way, reporting date is important too. Reporting date's coming up, she'll get me thrown on a trade line, and it'll fix that thing while I have 4 credit cards that are all gonna pay off over different dates. It'll be too hard to get to that point I need to get to when I need to get there. These are just very strategic moves that, frankly, I'll tell you, wealthy people use all the time to be able to maneuver. You wonder how they do it. This is the kind of stuff they do. They're very smart about it. They're not just out there winging it. Especially people with big businesses where they're leveraging themselves a lot, using their credit a lot. They have to be strategic about their credit to be able to qualify for things. So tradelinesupply.com. Then what happens if you get denied by all those? Well, then you didn't know your FICO score before you went in. You didn't realize your credit was bad. So you should go look at your credit. You can go to freecreditreport.com or any of these places. MyFICO is who I use, and you can look at your credit first before you go applying. Even though these are soft pulls, if you're getting declined, you can go see why and start working on that individual thing. Maybe working with a credit expert to get something deleted or removed, but you need to fix that stuff. But if you can't get approved for whatever reason, let's say it's potentially an income issue or a length length of credit issue that you have. Even if you got a trade line, the rest of your credit's so new that there's no way you're going to get approved. Check out these other sources for just signature loans that you can get that may be enough to be able to pay off your car. Or example, if your car doesn't qualify for the loan based on a salvage title issue or some other issue, and you just need, and you have some one of those loans you pay to the car dealership, and you pay every other week, and it's this exorbitant amount of money, and you need to get that loan to go away because they did backdoor financing and charged you this huge interest rate, which, by the way, one of my viewers came to me with, and it was like, you know, it's pay here, buy here, and they do this every other week payment thing, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, the payments like I don't know, $700 every 2 weeks for a Tahoe or something. I mean, a used old Tahoe with 80,000 miles. Like, no other bank's going to want, with a salvage title, and no other bank's going to touch that thing. Well, then you got to go to banks like this. So let's talk about, these are soft pull also, most of them. Avant.com, AVANT.com. Upstart.com. They look at the whole picture, not just their credit score, from what I understand. Of course, Lending Club, we talked about that already. So those are opportunities. There's probably more out there, but be careful with the ones that you get in the mail. Some of these are just brokers, and some of these might be as well. But these come highly recommended by a lot of the financial gurus out there on YouTube that I've been digging through and searching for. But be careful with some of the mailers that come in, because you'll go and apply, and it'll be like, you know, makeyourcomeback.com, and what they do is they shotgun you through 35 different lenders, then come back with, you know, a decline, but you've been shotgunned. So you want to make sure you're never going to get shotgunned. Once you know you're going to get the approval, then do it. Then get that car loan refinanced to pay it off. Some of these things you can use to pay off your credit card debt as well. But just believe me when I tell you, you need to cut up those credit cards. Maybe not necessarily close those accounts so that you have the available credit, but make sure you don't have monthly or annual fees that are going to pile up and recreate that debt. Some of those start-off credit cards that some of these offshoot shady banks will give you will have monthly fees of $15 to $25 a month. So you'll not use that card, but in 3 months you'll have a $75 balance, and in 6 months you'll have a $150 balance. And if it's a $300 limit, within a year you're sitting on a $300 balance, and you never got anything, you never bought anything. So be careful with that kind of stuff, because you'll see your FICO score getting hammered as they charge the monthly fees to your credit card. So don't fall for that kind of stuff. Stick with a lot of these banks, really do your research, and I hope this helps some of you out there save some money. Sorry it's a longer video, but I really want to help you out there, and I want to thank all the other YouTubers that I went and searched, and I dug up this information to be able to share it with you all to help you, because, you know, I would love to be everybody's solution. If I was a billionaire, I'd be helping everybody. But I'm not. I can't just be sending money to random people. It's just, I can't do it. But I can provide you with ideas and solutions so you can start working on finding that solution. Now, lastly, when should you file bankruptcy? When you are so destitute and so much in a bad place that it's affecting your mental health, and you are getting to the place where you see no other way out of this thing, and you're going into dark places. If you're in that place and you are stuck in a situation where you see no way out, and you've never filed bankruptcy before, and your debt is mounting and there's just no future solution, you can't come up with a solution. You can't borrow your way out of it. You can't earn your way out of it. Your income is capped out. It'll be decades before you ever can. The interest is mounting. You've got to ruin your credit anyways to even get the banks to listen to you. Oftentimes, you just need to go do it. And I'm sorry that some of you are going to say, that's crappy, you're a bad person if you do that. You're not. Sometimes good people make big mistakes. And you know what? It happens. And a lot of people have done it. I've done it. And you need to hit the reset button. As long as you learn from it, so be it. But you hit that reset button and you restart, and you never make that mistake again, which is why I'm neurotic, and I will be selling things like it's no tomorrow before I will ever find myself in that position again. I will never let myself be upside down on anything again, and I will never let credit cards get a hold of me again. And I hope this video helped at least one of you, if not many of you out there. So please like, subscribe, comment, share this with anyone you think it could help, and I'll see you in the next one. Time for me to go to work. Bye-bye.